Hello everybody. This is our
Hello.
second time with Haim, and this is the second webinar of with our Client Management Academy with Fronter. So today we are talking about hard drive principle, and this is another unusual name, which is really handy when it comes to planning your projects precisely and create precise estimates. Because sometimes if you're managing multiple projects or maybe even just one, it can happen that you create estimates on the start which are completely different in the end. So you need to have these difficult conversations with clients and so on. So today we'll be talking about how to overcome this issue and how to plan your projects precisely from the very first day. So Haim, how are you doing today?
Great.
You seem a little bit tired. Aren't you tired?
Yes. We are in vacation mode here, and
Oh, really? Yeah.
doing a lot of tasks.
It's very different when you have vacation. Yeah. Anyway, for everybody who is joining on Facebook, please feel free to ask questions in the comments, and we'll be answering them throughout the webinar. Today's webinar will be around 30 to 40 minutes long. So a little bit shorter than usual, but it will be filled with actionable steps, tips, and tricks you can immediately use in your business. So please stick around if you like it. Just like it or react with the heart. And if you really like it, please share it on your wall. That'd be so awesome. All right, Haim. So please, if you could please start sharing your screen, and let's get into the hard drive principle and how to precisely plan your projects from the very first day.
Okay. The hard drive principle.
I'm not seeing your screen yet, by the way.
Just a moment.
You need to click share, the green button in the panel.
So let me reset. Share.
Yes, perfect.
You see it now? Great. So the hard drive principle is a very simple principle, and it should be a type of a mantra that you always need to carry with you. The principle talks about borders and limits. You might not realize it, but the thing that makes everyone around you happy at all times is the borders and the limits to everything they do. Think about it in a 50,000 feet level. If you would live eternally, everything will taste stale after a while, and you will lose interest in everything, basically. Warren Buffett is famous for saying the most successful thing, the thing that makes most people successful is the amount of no's they say per day, putting hard borders on everything, limiting everything. When you know when not to overstep and not to do something that will take you off balance, to live a way healthier life. For instance, a lot of people who encounter or bump, in some way inherit a lot of money or win the lottery a lot of money, they don't know what to do with that money, and that money is either spent or in some way drags them down with them because they did not learn how to put the borders required to managing that amount of money. That's why it has been always our belief that the borders that you put are the things that make everyone around you happy. And if everyone agrees, of course, with these borders, that's really important thing.
So you basically want to apply this knowledge to day-to-day project management in business, right?
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
Okay, we brought this approach into the way we communicate and the way we manage the projects. Some of the principles in the hard drive principle is taken from other principles, but we think we did something nice and sticky and might be worth listening to. Okay.
All right, so let's get into it. What is the hard drive principle exactly?
So imagine the allegory, the imagery that you need to have is like that. Even if you have, we talked about borders now, even if you have 1,000 terabyte hard drive, which is enormous in size. You know, you might say, wow, 1,000 terabyte hard drive, I would never feel that. Yes, you will. Every computer geek will tell you that a 1,000 terabyte hard drive is easily filled with, well, just by the principle that you have space to fill, you will find out what to do with it. So you are wrong if you think that you will not reach that, that number. Now, there are always borders all around us, and that includes in our relationships with our clients, inside our teams, in the hours that we work. Even if you don't see these borders, they are there. And it's really important to explore them and to know the capacity in which you are able to work, your team is able to work, how much time certain things take to develop, and even the capacity of the client to bear with mistakes or failures or pivots that you make while you work. All those things, all those borders are really important to explore and to know before you even start before you even start working. You know, it can come during a conversation with the client beforehand. It's important to ask them about their credos, their methodologies, how they feel about things, etc. Just find out, explore borders.
So let's give us some specific example. So some project which is really easy to imagine for everybody who is watching is, for example, website development. So we have a client who wants us to develop website. So what are the steps to apply using the hard drive principle with this specific client? What questions we should ask to identify these borders you are talking about?
Well, I was about to come to this approach of, but you know, we can go over it briefly before that. It's always important to understand, to build the skeleton, okay, of your work, and to segmentize it and to fall into micro tasks even while in the planning stage. You know, people might ask you how much a branding website or how much an e-commerce website would cost me, and you know, they want an X numbers. X number. No, you need to take them and say what this e-commerce website needs to include. Does it need to include A, B, C, D? Do we have inside A and A point B, A point, etc. The more you break it down to the bare minimum tasks, the better. I'll get more into it later on. But another point that I wanted really to talk about, that the importance of borders, that once they are crossed, you made already your impression. It's really hard to go back on a bad impression. And I would rather, for instance, and my team would definitely rather, and my partners would definitely rather, not take a project and not go into something when the borders, where the limits is not outlined and defined clearly beforehand. So just because once you reach a border and you're in front of someone, you know, there is no going back. It's impossible. People just will not look at you the same. You will lose your credibility. You will be seen as a non-professional because you didn't reach a border because you said X and they got Y. There is no repentance on that. And, you know, maybe you will be able to learn from this project and to apply it. Okay, this task will take me X+1 time and not X time in your next project, but that client and that project, well, that's in the past. That's usually our experience. So it's really important to put these limitations and define it really good. The more you break a task down to its bare minimums, you know, you're able to quantify it. You are able to set buffers to it. all the things that we will talk about as we will progress.
Yeah, from my experience, what works really good when I was managing some social media for local clients here in Czech Republic is quantifying not only the bottom number of, for example, how many stories I will deliver, but also the top number. So I will deliver, for example, 4 to 8 stories within a week, and that's really measurable. That's really precise. And every party knows exactly what to expect from each other.
Yeah, 4 to 8. When you're giving, let's talk about ranges for a second. Even if you are giving a range, you are taking a sort of a risk. It definitely can work with certain clients, but for instance, if you're saying 4 to 8, the client always expects 8, right? Yeah. You're saying 4 and you want to please the client. That's why if you give them a number that you can feel totally comfortable with, and they will feel great about. They ask you
I see.
They ask for X and they got the X that they asked for, right?
I understand. It makes total sense. So like give definitive number rather than a range, if it's possible, of course.
If it's possible, yeah, definitely. Not always possible. So let's continue. Now, as I said before, there are always borders, even if you don't see them. Before you start a project, you don't know a client. You need to check within your team, are you able to deliver what the client wants? If it's a recurring project over time, of course, you will get better in it and in estimating it properly and defining the deliverables and making your client happy. But a lot of times, what one client perceives as an e-commerce project is not what another client perceives as an e-commerce project, which creates a lot of mess in the way, and you want to just to avoid that mess. Now, everyone that doesn't plan a project beforehand and give an estimation, and I think it's a rule that has no exception, reaches the borders that this client specified or he specified for himself and overshoots. I never saw a project that ends according to the deadline if it was not broken down to a specific Gantt, and even specific Gantt, with buffers in the Gantt, you overshoot there, you always misfire. So you need to take serious buffers, sometimes 1.5 times, sometimes 2 times the amount of time it takes to take the task. And under promise and over deliver. If it took, half the time that you said that it would take in the Gantt, the client will be happy. If it took 1.5 times the client, the time estimation you promised to the client will not be happy. So give yourself 2 weeks instead of a week. And if you deliver in a week, the client will be happy. If you will deliver in 2.5 weeks, the client will not be happy. That's what I'm saying high level.
I would like to stop here for a second, because sometimes problems with deadlines is because you are waiting for something from your client, right? That they need to deliver something. There's a date set that they need to deliver it in a week, and they deliver it in 3 weeks. And of course, it slows down your whole progress, your whole projects, and you're not eventually able to deliver on time, on deadline. So what is the trick for you? What would you say to overcome this deliverables from your clients?
Question the client. There are several ways to go about it. First of all is to really conduct your research before you start a project. If it's something the client needs to deliver, you need to know about it beforehand. If the client will say, and you will probably know, right? If you will say, yes, it might take me a few weeks to get that, ask him how much time it's going to take you, because I'm going to take it under consideration, because I have someone working on it. He's costing me X money. If he's not working, I'm losing money, and you will lose money by paying me by proxy. So let's plan it in a way that all of us will be on the same page and achieve our goals. That's one approach to go about it, to ask beforehand. If something suddenly happens during the project and you're not getting what you need, so update and discuss this with your client and tell him this will cause a delay of X plus 1 days to our plan, and it will influence, and you need to revisit your plan and see exactly how deliverables that are not delivered on time are slowing your progress down. Now, of course, as long as the customer is a part of the process and he knows that the problem lies here and not in your methodology or your deliverables or your ability to produce, he will be happy with the end result because he knows you're holding his hand through the project and saying, okay, this takes this amount of time. Clients just don't like to be in the dark. They need to be involved. We talked about it previously in the hairy hand principle. A client needs, because he pays money, he really wants to be involved in the process and see that he's getting a return on his investment. And you need to show him that, yes, you're doing this with us. This caused the delay here, and the delay is caused because of that. If you will be able to deliver it before that, we will, and yada, yada, yada. Integrate it into the plan, modify the plan while you move, and totally engage the client while doing so. It will just keep him happy. Okay?
Okay, thanks a lot. This is really insightful.
Now, we touched it during a conversation about how these kind of delays or misfires, what they cause. And as we said, not setting the project scope causes delays. Delays are really expensive. Okay, they increase the price tag, and when something costs for you as a service provider more, you need to somehow get that money back. The only way you are going to get that money back is by talking to the client. Listen, this delay caused by either you or me or a third party is costing me an X amount of money. What can we do? And you will find out that the more satisfied the client is with the way you are managing him and putting the borders and including him in the process, the more willing he is to pay for delays or for misfires in estimation, especially if he's the reason who caused them. We had examples like that in the past, that a client, for instance, disappeared for 3 weeks during a project because something personal happened to him. And, we have that credo that we tell our clients, okay, we jump to the water with you, even if there are sharks in the water, okay? Now, the question is, does the client pay you the favor? If the client pays you the favor, it's usually because you were on time, you delivered excellent estimates and excellent work before the incident happened. 3 weeks delay, it's 3 weeks that someone is on your payroll as a service provider, which can basically lower the profitability of the entire project down, okay? So you want to share this with the client as well. So, if there is a problem with the project, that he will pay his share for causing the delay. It's really important, and, and clients are willing to do it. If you are honest with them, that's what they expect from you, to be accountable for your work and to be honest about the delay, and knowing also that they know that your time is worth money. You just need to tell them, my time is worth money, and I didn't cause the delay, and I want to finish this project successfully, so help me do that. I would jump to the waters with the sharks with you. Mm-hmm. Let's swim together. Okay?
That's a really good analogy.
Because that's what you do a lot of times, especially when you work with startups. When you start, they don't always have the budget to support your work. So we say, okay, according to our plan, we will reach an X estimation a few years ago. Yeah, we worked a lot with startups, and we didn't always start at the optimal price tag. Okay, we needed sort of to earn the pay that we demanded after a while. Now, it's not that we were not an experienced agency with a lot of clients behind us. It was just because they didn't have the funds. Now, we saw them, we saw that they are really committed and they had a great idea or not. In either way, we would share that with them, and we'll try to improve either the way they're working on the product or the concept or the pitch or whatnot. But we did need to take a plunge. Now, later on, when we arrived to a situation that there was delays in the project, they were again with us to say, yeah, you did this for me in the past. You were totally honest for me from the get-go. You were totally accountable. You brought me to this point. That's why I think that, yeah, even the fact that we didn't cost 3 months, but it costs you money because it's running operation, I should pay you. And it worked. It just worked like that. Now, of course, if you do not manage, as we discussed earlier, if you do not manage these borders and limitations, and you do not include the client in your overall plan, and they are not following your Gantt, and they are not updating you that this might be delayed or that might be delayed, it's just going to leave a horrible taste in, and the client is basically, that's the last project that you are going to do with it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So there is a sort of a mantra, let's call it an algorithm, that we follow when we engage with a client. Always. Working on a project, we always say the following things. Like the hard drive, your resources are limited, okay? If I put one person to work on a design project, and there was a delay for any reason, or that person for some reason did not deliver what he needs to deliver, someone needs to be accountable, okay? If it's from our part, we should be accountable. If it's from the client part, the client needs to be accountable. The limits need to be clear. Also, if it was cost because of the employee or the other service provider that we work with, he needs to be accountable. This needs to be a clear cut, and it needs to come from them, not from us, that they are accountable, okay? And you should not pay for mistakes that are done by other people, meaning I will not add another designer to the mix because, for instance, the client acted irresponsibly, or the other designer, for instance, in that design project didn't deliver what he needed to deliver. That's in his hands, and how you look in front of the client, that's another issue altogether, right? But that's how responsibility and accountability should work, okay?
I see, okay.
Your resources are limited. You need to remember that. As I explained earlier, when you get a project, break it down to the bare minimum tasks to calculate costs. The bare minimum tasks is like when you design a logo, a bare minimum task would be creating the sketch. An initial sketch is a bare minimum task. It's just the first task of many tasks. Some people will say you have a task to create a logo. No, we call it a project. A logo is a project by definition. It's not a task. It's broken down to many tasks inside. Getting a vertical out of this sketch and creating several variations. Each one of them is a task, if not a project on its own. Okay?
Absolutely. Like when we were creating logo, we had a very technical client, and they just thought, hey, create a logo, just draw something. But if you want to deliver a good job, you really need to understand the company. So how we started was a brand workshop. and we were asking really deep questions about their business, about their visions and so on. And then we were able to deliver like the perfect logo, which was resonating with them. And if you just draw something, it wouldn't be theirs and they wouldn't feel involved. So yes, it's definitely a project. It's not like a single task.
Yeah, yeah. Another thing in our mantra, in our border mantra or hard drive mantra, is never get confident with your time estimations. Always give yourself a buffer. After a while, when you repeat a task enough times, you get really confident. And there are many reasons why, as a service provider, you would shorten the time estimation, from your side even. I want to enter more projects into my funnel, which means I need to deliver faster. Now, as a service provider, you have only these hands and this head and the team that works around you. They are limited to their hands and to their brains too, and they can deliver according to history and historical data an X amount of work. If you are trying to make them work faster or to deliver faster or to expedite some process, you are bound to bump into some difficulties that you didn't estimate. So it's really important to give yourself the time that you need, plus an extra buffer. That extra buffer, as we discussed before, will only make you look good. Meaning, if you know that a task takes you a week, and then you say to the client, 2 weeks and you have it, if you deliver it after a week, you earned a week in the process, the client is over the top happy, and you just over-delivered and
under-delivered.
You over-deliver, no, under-deliver.
Yeah, you over-deliver and under-deliver.
Over-delivered and underestimated.
Or underestimate, yeah.
The vacation really fried the brain. No matter what you do, the client is going to always stress you. Whether it's going to him stressing you specifically, directly, or his mental image in your head, it's going to stress you what he will think and what he will say about this, about that. So that's why you shouldn't let the client manage you. You should be prepared and you should always set the borders before you start to work. When you have these borders, you are just able to deliver each and every time and make them totally satisfied. And if the clients, for instance, say, no, we definitely need this now and drop everything, and say, okay, you're right now prioritizing. You will get this before you'll get that. If a client shoves additional tasks into the process that were not taken under consideration, as I said, you need to revisit your process, you need to prioritize the deliverables, and then update the client. Now, the next element in our mantra is, if a scope of a task is big, and we talked about it, it's a project, it's not a task. Break that project into smaller tasks. And that specific wisdom, let's call it, is taken from the GTD methodology by David Allen. If you had a chance ever to read it, if not, I recommend to read that book. Every email, according to David Allen, that takes you more than 2 minutes to handle is by definition a project, because it sends you to research or to check resources, or it requires to make. Now, it might be a small project, a 5 minutes or 10 minutes project, right? And it might be a day or two project. An email can be that, okay? So as long as the project is large in scope, always see how you can break down tasks. Some might say it's time-consuming. That's totally time-consuming to take a project that I know how to deliver and break it into smaller tasks. You will be amazed how much more organized and how much more productive you are after you took a project and you broke it down to tasks. That's it. That's simple.
Mm-hmm.
as we mentioned before, a client that knows what to expect and when to expect it is a happy client. And predictability in life, I'll add it to my previous statement about borders. Predictability make people happy. When they know when to expect that thing, they can plan. They're not feeling stuck. When a client doesn't know when a certain project will be ready, is not able to initiate other projects related to it or to launch campaigns or depending on the field that the project is associated with, meaning he's stuck. And when he's stuck, he's not happy. When he knows that he can count on 100%, that's the go day, that's the launch day, you know, he's happy. He's happy with you, he's happy with the way you work, he's happy with the job that the work that you deliver, and he knows how to progress. That's the hard drive principle. That's
impressive. So you use it with every client when you plan your projects, right? No matter what project it is, you just break it down into like the very simple tasks, and you just create a precise estimate. Is that right?
Yeah. And
so
even these tasks, you know, when you break them down, you can create a Gantt out of them, and you can share that Gantt with your client. For instance, if you're using Trello, there is this Chrome extension called Elegant that just takes your tasks and organizes them in a beautiful Gantt for the client to follow. And if you need to update the duration, you know, it automatically updates the Gantt. And the client is just able to go with you hand in hand while you are conducting the project. And all the answers are answered even before he asks you. It's there on the Gantt. Yeah.
Darren is raising hand, so I will allow him to talk. Maybe he has something to say. So, hello, Darren. Do you hear us?
Hello.
Hello, Darren. We can hear you.
Sorry, guys. I was carrying my phone around the house and I must have unmuted it accidentally. I will remute myself and keep out of the way.
So, what is the biggest outcome you were taking from this webinar?
It's actually my Achilles heel is organize things properly.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, absolutely. 101.
Anyway, this is interesting to allowing participants and attendees to talk and share their viewpoints. We might do it more often.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right.
You will be surprised how much people say exactly that. You know, organization is the most undervalued skill an independent contractor or anyone for that matter should own. They don't teach you organization properly at school. They don't teach you organization properly when you are in university. You need, you know, usually if you learn how to organize yourself, there is blood and sweat behind that. You know,
I'll tell you what, guys.
A lot of failure.
For me, Fronter is an absolute godsend because I've been using Trello. And trying to use Trello, anything like Trello with a client is a nightmare because sorry, 1 second, my wife's just calling me. I'm on the phone, darling. Okay, bye. Trying to use Trello is a nightmare because clients will put up tasks and the assets that go with the tasks and following exactly what they want is really difficult. But with Fronter, when you can log on and just look at the dots and then see each task matched up to the element on the website, it is absolutely fantastic, and it's just made my life so much easier.
That's amazing to hear. Thank you.
God sent, it's a powerful word. We will quote that.
Yeah, be my guest.
Okay, thank you.
All right, guys. This was amazing. Thanks a lot for this knowledge, Haim. It was really cool, and I think people are ready to apply it in their businesses. Of course, this webinar will be available to see on Facebook, either in our Facebook group or Facebook page, where you can watch the replay. and I will be probably next week recording everything on YouTube, so you will be able to watch it on YouTube too. So there's one last thing to add. There are more webinars coming, and Darren, is there anything else you would like to add, or do you think we can?
Oh, you can still hear me?
Yes.
Oh, something's not working. I clicked mute.
All right. All right. Nice talking to you.
I'm trying mute again. 1 sec.
Bye-bye.
All right, guys. So Darren, actually one of PitchGround and Fronter customers, joined, and he shared his experience with Fronter, which is actually available to buy on PitchGround. I will tell you a little bit more about it later. So today we talked about hard drive principle, how to plan your projects and create precise estimates. And tomorrow we are talking about the right soft skills to maintain healthy relationship with your clients. And then there's the last webinar, how to get more clients by leveraging recommendations and referrals. So if you own an agency, or maybe if you're a freelancer, solopreneur, this webinar, basically both of these webinars are for you. But if you need more clients, this last one on 22nd is the one you should really attend, because referrals are one of the best clients and warmest clients you can get. And you can register on this link. It's fronter.pitchground.com. It will take you to this landing page, Client Management Academy. Simple to use strategies to manage your project smoothly and get paid on time. And just fill in your email address and we'll send you a notification once we go live. So once again, it's fronter.pitchground.com. And the last thing is that Fronter is, of course, live on pitchground.com, and you can grab your lifetime license here for $49, or if you need more users, there are plans for it. And if you need white label, there's of course a plan for it as well for $245. So make sure you will check it. It's especially useful if you're working on visual projects with your clients, for example, websites, designs, content creation. You can simply just paste the live website, for example, and you can comment on the live website immediately and share it with your client, and clients can comment as well. So it literally can kill all these long email conversations and back and forths about revisions. So Fronter, it's a pitchground.com/products/Fronter. So make sure you will check it. And thanks a lot for joining. And we have a question. Can you show how to add new page? Haim, do you think you could show in Fronter a little bit?
We would glad maybe to answer it in the comments, because I
see. You actually need to go, right?
Need to go. Yeah, sorry.
All right, Darren, I'm sorry. We don't have time to answer it right now, but we will check it in the comments, and Haim will reply to you there, or somebody else from Fronter team. All right, so thanks a lot, everybody, for joining. It's pitchground.com/products/Fronter. And if you want to join more webinars, it's fronter.pitchground.com. So Haim, Darren, Somia, and everybody who's watching on Facebook, I will see you tomorrow. Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.